microphones on. Call to order. Board of Zoning Appeals for March 10th, 2025. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from February 24th, 2025 that were amended, or sorry, not amended. 24th was the last one, so approval on those as written.
Move to approve those as written.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Mull. All those in favor raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. And then a motion to approve the amended minutes from February 10th, 2025.
Chairman, I move that we approve the amended minutes from February 10th, 2025.
Motion by Mr. Peters, second by Mr. Milburn. All those in favor raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Any special requests or continuances that are not listed?
Just a reminder, just to have your mics on if they're not already, and then speak directly into them, just for the different YouTube videos that go out, just to make sure that voices are being picked up correctly. That's the only special request, but other than that, none.
Thank you. All right, moving on, findings of fact, BZA 2024-061, which was a development standards variance for petitioner Gregory McCart for property at 650 East Park Avenue.
Chairman, in consideration of statutory criteria, move that we adopt the written findings of fact as presented, incorporating the evidence submitted into the record as our final decision of final action for variance petition number BZA 2024-061.
Motion by Mr. Peters, second by Mr. Mull. All those in favor raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. BZA 2025-001, development standards variance for petitioner Donna Jo Smithers on behalf of the DT Real Estate 63 LLC for property at 51100 Block South Park Drive.
In consideration of the statutory criteria, I move that we adopt the written findings of fact as presented, incorporating the evidence submitted into the record as our final decision and final action for variance petition number BZA 2025-001.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Milburn. All those in favor raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. BZA 2025-002, a use variance for petitioner Hossam Kadora on behalf of Extreme Autos Mall for property at 560 North State Road 135.
In consideration of the statutory criteria, I move that we adopt the written findings of fact that presented, incorporating the evidence into the record as our final decision and final action for variance petitioner BZA 2025-002.
Motion by Mr. Mull, second by Mr. Milborn. All those in favor raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. We have no old business. Any old business from the floor? Seeing none, we will move on to new business. First up is BZA 2025-004. This is a development standards variance for 886 Cutsinger Road. Petitioner is Charles Baxter, requesting relief from one section of the Unified Development Ordinance to allow an accessory structure over 300 square feet to not have a 36-inch masonry wainscot. All those wishing to present, please stand. Go ahead and stand, sir, if you're going to present. Are you presenting for this?
I mean, it's for us, yes.
Okay. Anyone else going to speak to this? Okay, then I need you to stand as well. I need you to stand so I get you both sworn in for testimony if you're gonna present. Is anyone online for this petition? Okay, I need you both to be sworn in by our secretary. If you would just stand and respond to her.
Penalties for perjury, testimony is true to the best of your knowledge. Do you swear no penalties for perjury, testimony is true to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, I did.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I did.
All right, then Mr. Baxter, if you would approach the podium and give, is everything in order, staff?
Everything is in order and in the file.
I submit the Freedom of Comprehensive Plan and Unified Development Ordinance.
Thank you.
Perfect. Name and address for the record?
My name is Charles Baxter. Address is 886 West Cutsinger Road, Greenwood, Indiana.
All right, and then there should be a sheet there. If you could fill that out with your name and address so we get it correct. And then you submitted answers to the statutory criteria. There were 3 of them to the staff that is included in the staff report. I just want to confirm that those are the answers you submitted and you agree with what is written in the staff report.
Okay,
Is that correct? Everything in there?
yes, everything, yes.
Perfect. Then tell us why you're here and what you would like to add to what you submitted to us.
I don't really have much to add, just I'm here, essentially to get the exception to not put the wainscoting on the bottom of my accessory structure. For a couple reasons. One, as I've noted in there, the remaining buildings on our property are all metal buildings. And, it will just kind of offset that appearance. Also, it doesn't kind of add a structural stability, I would see, but also it's more of just the appearance and the kind of, in my opinion, lack of need for a RV carport. That's kind of.
Anything else before I let this gentleman
No,
to his
no,
comments?
I
All
don't
right.
have anything else to add.
All right, and you can take a seat for a moment.
All
And
right.
sir, if you would approach the podium. And then your name and address for the record.
I'm Don Eads, I live at 894 West Cutsinger Road. And to the city planning commission and board of zoning appeals. The subject is the RV carport at 886 West Cutsinger Road. And I've lived where I live 54 years. So the subject of the carport was built December the 19th, 2024. And this building is located within 13 inches of the existing property line. It's my understanding that the property owners didn't get a building permit as required to build this building. And the required setback for a building such as this is 5 feet. When the contractors built this building, they didn't ask to come up over on my property to build a building. It's so close to the property line, they had to come over on the property line to build it. They just acted like they owned the place. And I just ask that this variance be denied and the city ordinances be upheld.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Do you have any questions?
Not currently, we might. Sir, you have 5 minutes to respond.
The only response I have is that the space in between the property line and where the building goes is actually 0. But I've checked code. And that's, I mean, the only variance I'm looking for is the wainscot.
Understood. So, and I will ask staff to confirm that as
Gotcha.
well. Okay.
Yep, that's all I have.
Staff, do you want to offer your comments and input?
Sure.
On the property line?
Yeah, that's correct. In the agricultural zone district, all that is required is that the accessory structure be behind the forward building edge of the main structure, house. So, but it does not say anything as to side yard setbacks, so there are none to enforce. And this variance request is merely for the wainscoting around the posts.
Understood.
The structure is already there. He has obtained the building permit. It's pending this approval before that gets approved, but yes. He's done everything we've asked him to. I think it was just a misunderstanding to start with. So no, we're working with him. He's been very good to work with. And the wainscoting itself in this case isn't really going to do anything useful. So staff is in favor of the variance.
Okay. I'll close the public hearing. So, sir, just to make sure you understood what they said.
I didn't hear.
Okay, I'm not sure who told you there was a 5-foot setback. There is a 0 setback in that zoning area. So there is no, he can go all the way up to the property line. The only thing this board is considering tonight is whether or not he has to put 3 feet of brick on the bottom of it or not. Nothing else is being heard by this board. So that is the only thing before us. Okay. Mr. Mole,
No questions.
Mr. Milborn, Mr. King, Mrs. Peters?
No.
I have no questions, pretty straightforward request, so I will take a motion to admit all the evidence into the record.
I move that we admit all the evidence presented in regard to this matter, including the notices, receipts, maps, photographs, written documents, petitioner's application and attachments, petitioner's detailed statement of reasons, the staff report planned by the planning department, certified copies of UDO and comprehensive plan, testimony of the petitioner, city planning staff, and any remonstrators, and all other exhibits presented, be they oral or written, for consideration by this board in regard to this petition, and to include the testimony of those present.
Motion by Mr. Mole, second by Mr. Milborn. All those in favor, raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. I will take a motion on the docket itself.
Move that we approve this request with no conditions.
Motion by Mr. King, second by Mrs. Peters to approve with no conditions. All those in favor, raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. Before you leave, just give us one more second, and then we'll finalize it. I will take a motion to direct the corporation's counsel to draft the findings of fact.
Having considered the statutory criteria, I move that we direct the corporation's counsel office to draft written findings of fact regarding our decision on the variance request presented in variance petition number BZA 2025-004. Said findings specifically incorporate the staff report and the evidence submitted into the record for consideration and adoption by the Board of Zoning Appeals that are as our final decision and final action regarding the petition their next meeting.
Motion by Mr. Mole, second by Mr. Milborn. All those in favor, raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. So, Mr. Baxter, you are good to proceed. We will take final action in 2 weeks, but you don't need to be here, and you can work with staff to move forward. Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you both. All right, next up is BZA 2025-005. This is the development standards variance for 26 Frostwood Lane. Petitioner is John Haber, requesting relief from 2 sections of the Unified Development Ordinance. Number 1, to allow a fence in a front yard to have up to 100% opacity, and number 2, to allow a fence taller than 4 feet in a front yard. Those wishing to speak to this, please stand and be sworn in by our secretary.
Do you swear no penalty of perjury? The testimony is true to the best of your knowledge. Thanks.
Yeah, to you. That was.
Sorry.
Did you get a response? Did he respond, Stevie? I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Did he respond yes?
Yes.
Okay. And is there anyone online speaking to this? Okay, seeing none, if you could fill that out with your name and address.
This is
while
for
you-
my stepdaughter's house. Do I put my address or her address? 26 Frosted Lane is her.
We want your address, I believe, correct? It's- Yeah, we want your address and name. And then is everything in order?
Everything's in order and in our file for this one as well.
Yeah, submit the development ordinance and the comprehensive plan.
Thanks,
Thank
Jerry.
you. Name and address?
John Haver, Haver, and it's mine is 986 Woodgate Lane, Greenwood, Indiana, 46143.
Okay, and I will ask you the same thing. You had to respond to answers to both variances for the 3 statutory criteria. And you did see that is in the staff report, and that is what you submitted?
Yes.
Okay, then tell us why you're here and anything else you would like to add to that.
My daughter's a teacher at Clark Pleasant High School in grade science. She didn't have time to do this, so I've been doing all the paperwork for her. She does have a corner lot. We didn't understand that there was a restriction, but it's kind of like the original fence from 2000. I've been fixing it board by board, but it needs to be replaced. And so we just wanted to replace the fence that's there with the exact same fence. It's 6 feet high.
Okay, so you're just replacing existing wooden fence,
Yep.
brand new wooden fence,
Yep.
exact same specs?
Yep.
Okay,
I started off in the encroachment area, because that's what they told me to do. But
I see.
I don't know if I need to go back to them at some point or whatever.
I can answer that when it
When it comes to your,
staff.
okay. Again, I'll ask anyone else speaking to this. If not, then I will take staff's comments.
Sure, so staff is recommending a favorable recommendation. We do have some conditions for this request that we're requesting that you consider for the petition. The first request touches on a question that he had asked. It is a condition that he would receive an encroachment request for the fence running over the drainage, utility, and sanitary sewer easement on the south side of the property. And that needs to be approved by the Board of Public Works and Safety. So a lot of times it's what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Do you do the encroachment first and then apply for the variance? Or do you address the variance that doesn't allow the fence in that area period and then go and do the encroachment request? So one of the things we would like, if you do end up approving this, is for condition for him to finish out that process with Board of Public Works and Safety. The second one, we do have an ordinance that says that no fence shall be located within 2 feet of the public sidewalk. Those are, we did confirm, those are public sidewalks. A lot of this is partially aesthetics for your walking. It can also be due to visibility. I didn't have as many visibility concerns with this corner lot because it's set back far enough. But the other thing is if we're doing a maintenance or repair project on the sidewalks, once they start to show their age, it can be very difficult to repair that if a fence is built right up along the sidewalk. So we would recommend that that also be a condition of this approval. With this, he does have a corner lot. Corner lots are a little more unique than your typical lot where they have additional criteria and standards with having a double front that we do feel like makes this property unique, and therefore we were favorable.
Very good. Anything else you'd like to add before I turn it over to the board?
We actually did start with the encroachment process. I mailed all the letters and everything. And Johnson County RMC came out, looked at it. That was the only utility other than the sewer and the water.
So
So we put an 8-foot gate on that side so they could have access if need be. But I'm probably telling you that's not
yeah,
what we need to.
with the request, you do need to notify the utilities and get their feedback. But you do still have to go before the Board of Public Works and
Okay.
Safety. It would be in this exact same meeting room. They meet on the first and third Monday. We meet on the second and fourth. And there is actually a committee that is up there that would have to consider your request to either approve or deny. Not just the individual utilities, but it would actually be the Board
Okay.
of Public Works and Safety. So if you've been working with engineering, you're probably working with Jeff Weaver. Make sure that you're trying to get scheduled for one of those meetings if this is successful.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I'll close the public hearing. Mr. Mole?
Is the current fence 2 feet away from the sidewalk, or is it?
I think it is, but I didn't measure it, I guess. I didn't know about that one. I know it's 4 feet from the street, so I think it is.
Yeah, I couldn't tell by Google Earth, the
We
picture,
could adjust it in.
that's all I really had.
Mr. Milburn?
Is this, what type of fence is this?
What type of fence is it?
Yes.
It's the dog ear picket fence. Is that what you?
6-foot picket fence, wooden picket.
Would there be any,
Privacy.
it's on a corner turning, seeing the site, the other road coming that way?
I took pictures and I think it's okay, but
So it does, when you measure our vision triangle or visibility triangle that is currently adopted in our ordinance, it is outside of that zone. Now, I would say that, depending on the speed that people are traveling, that vision triangle is maybe a minimum for, visibility. Part of the backing it up 2 feet from the sidewalk, I think would help with the visibility at that corner. This is a T in the road, they're on a corner with a T, so that they do not have, it's not a four-way, which is helpful, but, it was outside of that visibility triangle that we review it for. I do think still backing it up would help if you choose to use that condition.
Okay, Mr. King?
Is it just non-compliant? Is that why we're hearing it now? If it's been there?
So it was a non-conforming structure. We probably would not have caught this in our review, but since a new fence was being put up, it was being taken down and completely replaced, not just a repair of a board. At that time, we do want to make sure that we're doing things by the books. This is the staff that we have now. I can't speak for staff at the time that the original fence was put up. Due to it being in disrepair, it's probably been quite some time that's passed. And I'm not sure what the staffing was like or the review of fencing at that time. But anytime something is completely replaced, we do try to bring it into compliance. Or if it's not meeting compliance, go through the proper channels such as a Board of Zoning Appeals variance request.
That's all I have.
Ms. Peters?
If I understand this right, we're replacing what is existing, so not changing
we're
the
not changing anything.
location of where everything is, except for maybe
Well,
the
maybe
2
back it up.
feet from the
Other than that,
sidewalk.
we were gonna get rid of one gate on the inside, not by the road, the other end. Because there's 3 gates, we don't want to need that 3rd gate. But we were gonna leave the 8-foot gate for the cover.
So we're not looking at making it any bigger,
No,
possibly could be smaller.
possibly.
Okay,
And the other variance was for the transparency or opacity. Currently, it is a full privacy fence as well, so that's not being changed. They're not adding
Okay.
Additional privacy.
I have no further questions, so I will take a motion to admit all the evidence in the record.
I move that we admit all the evidence presented in regard to this matter, including the notices, receipts, maps, photographs, written documents, petitioner's application and attachments, petitioner's detailed statement of reasons, staff report prepared by the planning department, certified copies of the UDO and comprehensive plan, testimony of the petitioner, city planning staff, and any administrators and all other exhibits, be they oral, written, for consideration by this board in regard to the petition, and to include the testimony of those present.
Motion by Mr. Small, second by Mrs. Peters. All those in favor, raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. I'll take a motion on the docket itself for request number 1 to allow a fence in a front yard to have up to 100% opacity.
I move that we approve this request with 2 conditions in the staff report. 1, encroachment request for the fence running over a drainage, utility, and sanitary sewer easement, DU and SE, on the south side of the property is approved by Board of Public Works and Safety. Condition 2, no fence shall be located within 2 feet of a public sidewalk.
Motion by Mr. King with the 2 conditions, second by Mr. Mole. All those in favor, raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. take a motion on request number 2, which is to allow a fence taller than 4 feet in a front yard.
Move that we approve this with the same 2 conditions.
Motion to approve with the same 2 conditions, second by Mrs. Peters. All those in favor, raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. Take a motion to direct the corporation's counsel to draft written findings of fact.
Chairman, having considered the statutory criteria, move that we direct the Corporation Counsel's Office to draft written findings of fact regarding our decision on the variance request presented in variance petition number BCA 2025-005. Said findings to specifically incorporate the staff report and the evidence submitted into the record for consideration and adoption by the Board of Zoning Appeals as our final decision and final action regarding this petition at our next meeting.
Motion by Mr. Peters, second by Mr. Milborn. All those in favor, raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. So again, you are good to proceed. You can work with staff. We will finalize things in a couple weeks, but you do not do that.
They'll talk to me about backing it up or whatever we need to do there. on the sidewalk.
Yeah, and if you need us to come out and help measure with you or anything, we can make
Whatever
sure.
that's normally do. I can measure it if you want, or you can send you a picture, or you can come out and measure it. I'm fine.
We'll talk, we'll figure it out, and I'm sure that you'll be fine with compliance, so I appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, next up is BZA 2025-006. This is a development standards variance for 1275 West Stones Crossing Road. Petitioner is Jericho Morris on behalf of Milmar Buildings, requesting relief from 2 sections of the Unified Development Ordinance. Number 1, to remove the requirement for a 36-inch wainscot of mortar masonry for accessory structures over 300 square feet. And number 2, to allow a gravel driveway. Is everything in order?
Everything is in order and in our files.
That's what the comprehensive plan and unified development ordinance.
Who's here to present for this? Okay, be sworn in by our
Do
secretary.
you swear on this perjury, testimony is true to the best of your knowledge? Thank you.
Just to confirm, is there anyone online for this? Okay. Go ahead and fill out your name and address on the sheet, please. Both of you. While he's finishing, I'll go ahead and get your name and address on that.
That would be Cale Carlson. I'll be taking over for Jericho.
An address?
891 Tamarack Road, Washington, Indiana.
Sir, your name and address for the record?
Brian Tyke, 1275 West Stones Crossing Road, Greenwood, Indiana.
Okay. Who's going to present first?
I will.
All right, Mr. Carlton, I'll ask you the same thing that I've asked here the others. You've submitted responses to 3 statutory criteria that have been written in the staff report that was provided to us for both requests. Have you seen that, and is that the answers you provided?
Yes.
Okay. With that, tell us why you're here, and then anything else you would like to add to those responses.
So we're here to seek relief from the wainscoting requirement, one, because it would be cheaper for the customer to go ahead and use metal instead of masonry. And then also, you know, it's not going to take away from any structural integrity the building might have.
Okay.
And then a driveway permit. So this driveway will not be connecting to the road in any way. It will just be going from the customer's driveway to his new building in the rear.
Okay.
And so we're hoping that it can be made gravel instead of concrete or asphalt.
Anything else you want to add before I ask staff for their opinion? Are there comments, rather?
No, I don't believe so. I think that's the only two things that we were here to have a variance on today.
Mr. Tyge, you, anything to add?
Yeah, but now sometime in the future, as money allows, yes.
Go ahead. I need, so we can pick it up on the recording.
You know, sometime in the future, as money allows, I do want to have that driveway that will connect to my current asphalt driveway done and asphalt around to the back of the building. But being it's around 130 feet, that's quite an expense plus the building on top of it. So probably in the future, it will be asphalt at some point in time.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else for this? Okay, staff?
So staff is giving a favorable recommendation for the mortar masonry wainscoting. It's essentially an agricultural type building. It's a fairly large lot area. Similar buildings have already been there for a while. The wainscoting isn't really going to add much of a benefit for anyone at that point. So staff does not have any concerns with that. We do have one condition that the accessory structure shall substantially conform to the site plan that was submitted in Exhibit C. Staff is opposed to the gravel driveway. Just the stance that staff has taken throughout.
Yeah, partly for the driveway for the unfavorable recommendation is the strip application of the terms of zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties to the use of the property. Although we're not disagreeing that the asphalt or porous pavers or concrete is more expensive. However, we disagree that it's unique to this particular property. And for that reason, we were unfavorable of the second request. We do think that it could have been built possibly with a shorter runway to help save on costs as well with the paved surface or another permitted material.
Okay. Anything else?
That's all.
Anything else you'd like to add or respond to on that?
So you think it could have been moved closer to the house?
Sir, I
I'm sorry.
need you, sorry, that microphone.
Oh, so you think it could have been moved closer to the home to shorten the driveway?
To the existing driveway that's coming off of, yes.
Okay. But, well, due to graduations in the land, and that basically being the only flat area that wasn't in the flood zone is the reason we chose that area. As I said before, I look forward to putting the asphalt drive in, starting from our current and running towards the back of the building. But it just wasn't in the budget for this time frame.
That's all I have.
Okay. Okay. Anything else before I open it to the board?
Just as long as everyone is aware that this driveway will not be connected to the road. It's more of a path.
And we'll have, we still have a question if someone else doesn't ask first about that once I open it up to the board. So go ahead and stay there because we will have questions.
Absolutely.
I'm going to close the public hearing. Mr. Mull?
So that gravel driveway, the gravel pathway, will you be able to see it from the street at all, do you think?
You probably, sorry, go ahead. You'll probably be able to see approximately 30 feet from the street before it goes around to the back of the house.
Is it connecting to the existing driveway?
Yes,
That's what I would like to do, yes.
Just to give you some clarity, their existing driveway is 112 feet, and then you have their home. Their home, if you are on the east side of the road, will block the new accessory structure from view. You would have to really be on their east property line to be able to see back to see the structure. In what I have seen, the driveway comes off of the existing paved driveway. So like he's saying, the gravel will not connect to the road, it will not connect Stones Crossing. The gravel driveway extension will connect to the existing 112-foot driveway.
That'll connect up by the house, I assume?
It will actually connect 30 feet in front of the house. There's a turnaround,
Yep. I see
which
that.
is what I'm wanting to connect to.
So you connect to that and then go all the way back to the new
That's
driveway.
correct.
So, another follow-up question. Are there other neighbors around that have similar setups to that too? I was just curious.
Yeah, I mean, 2 doors down from me, they built a accessory structure. And it's behind the home, and I believe it's gravel to it. Not 100% sure. There's other structures along Stones Crossing that have, there's some of them that still have gravel drives to the home. And I know on Curry, there is some structures that have gravel drives to them that are actually connected to Curry as well.
So then my other dumb question, just because I have, so it's, since he has a driveway and this is considered a pathway, is it not, what's considered a driveway, I guess? If it's, does it have to connect to the street or does it have to? I was just curious. I didn't know if like.
I guess this is any surface that's parked on, so a driveway, a parking lot, anything where vehicles will be on them, that is considered a drive. I think it's what he's really asking for a variance request from is parking area surfaces, and driveways fall under parking areas in our ordinance. Yep. Okay. But I think it's not where, I don't believe your primary driveway is where you're parking your cars. I'm not sure what this is going to be used to going back. They say it's going to be used less frequently.
Yeah, I was just thinking it'd be used just to get to that garage back, and I think that would be better than driving through a grass pit. So, okay, I have no more questions.
Yeah, it was my understanding that since there will be 2 overhead doors that are in the structure, that there has to be some kind of a drive to it. So that was my understanding.
Mr. Milburn? Mr. King?
No, I mean, it's not connecting to the street. I'm not worried about it myself, so. I got nothing.
Mr. Peters?
I think I'm okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my comment about the peculiar to the property, when you answered the flat area and the flooding, or you mentioned that was kind of the only area where you could get a flat to keep, that had to be further back from the house, that makes it a little bit unique. The fact that you already have the asphalt driveway to the house. And is this going to be to store vehicle, or is this going to be where you're parking on a regular basis, or is this for storage and you're gonna be
No.
kind of going back there to access that, or?
No, the main parking will still be the attached garage to the house. This will be for motorcycle, classic car, things of that nature.
Stuff that'll be mostly stored, get out every so often.
Exactly, a small utility tractor, saws, chainsaws, things of that nature, just more storage than anything.
And then just to clarify with staff, I guess, if we were to deny this, they could just leave it as grass and traverse through that grass with no problem. Nothing against the ordinance at that point.
Well, I think the intent of the ordinance is to not have the rut marks, the tracks. It wants surfaces that are going to be parked on, and a driveway would fall under that, to be of an improved surface. So when we're looking at new home construction, if they were just to provide garages with grass going to the street, we would flag that and say, no, this needs to be an improved hard surface for parking. So I think that's how I'm looking at it, is there's a requirement for parking surfaces to be, use our certain approved materials that we've listed.
Very good. I don't think I have anything else. I appreciate that clarification. So,
I guess if the vehicles could hover in the garage.
that would be better. Understood. I mean, I'm with Mr. King, I think gravel's better than Mr. Paul.
Well, we've approved gravel way down along Stubbs Cross.
And it's far enough away from other places of residence that the dust and everything is not, and not connected to the road. So, all right, I will take a motion to admit all the evidence in the record.
I move that we admit all the evidence presented in regard to this matter, including notices, receipts, maps, photographs, written documents, petitioner's application and attachments, petitioner's detailed statement of reasons, staff report prepared by the planning department, certified copies of the UDO comprehensive plan, testimony of petitioners, city planning staff, and your administrators, and all other exhibits presented in a oral written for consideration by this board in regard to the petition, and to include testimony of those present this evening.
Motion by Mr. Knoll, second by Mr. Milborn. All those in favor, raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. We'll take a motion on request number 1 to remove the requirement for a 36-inch wainscot of mortared masonry for accessory structures over 300 square feet.
I move that we approve this request with the one condition in the staff report that the accessory structure shall substantially conform to the site plan depicted in Exhibit C.
Motion by Mr. King to approve with one condition, second by Mr. Milborn. All those in favor, raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. Request number 2 to allow gravel driveway.
Excuse me, I move that we approve this with no conditions.
Motion by Mr. King to approve with no conditions, second by Mrs. Peters. All those in favor, raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. I'll take a motion to direct Corporations Council to draft written findings of fact.
Chairman, having considered the statutory criteria, I move that we direct the Corporation Counsel's Office to draft written findings of fact regarding our decision on the variance request presented in variance petition number BCA 2025-006. Said findings to specifically incorporate the staff report and the evidence submitted into the record for consideration and adoption by the Board of Zoning Appeals as our final decision of final action regarding this petition at our next meeting.
Motion by Mr. Peters, second by Mr. Mole. All those in favor, raise a hand. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. So you also are good to proceed working with staff. We will take official final action in 2 weeks, but you don't need to be. Okay, thank you very much. Any new business from the floor? Seeing none, any announcements? Announcements, take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We are adjourned. Stop the recording and microphone is off.